Okay, so exercise number 3 in the series is really to try and get our glutes activated. Super important, as we already talked about, in terms of those that are running and cycling and generally getting up and active, but also just in terms of general stability for our posture and core control. So we've looked at lengthening through our hip flexors. A good combination exercise to do to try and reinforce that is to try and get good activation through our glutes. We've looked at some exercises already in previous videos which deal with our glute med and lateral rotation stability. This is really looking at good hip extension, which have various progressions that you can progress to as you get stronger and better at these in particular. So this little process is going to involve us lying flat on the floor. Again, it's important that we are isolating this particular activation to our hips and the big muscles in our glutes, and we don't want to feel like we're loading up in our lower backs. So your sort of pre-activation position is really just to possibly have a slight posterior tilt in the pelvis, just to kind of keep our back nice and neutral. Pre-squeeze your glutes, and then you're essentially just going to fold your arms and then lift your hips up off the floor. So your initial exercise is just really to learn that particular movement. As you can see, we're going to get a bit of length through the hip flexor at the same time whilst we're activating our glutes. As you get better at this and it feels more natural, what you should do is actually try and hold that position and then lift one leg off and just feel like you can lock yourself in through the glute that you're weight bearing on. So what you don't want to happen is, if you're weak, you're going to find that your pelvis will rotate or drop out to the side. You want to stay nice and level across your pelvis when you do this. And essentially you want to try and hold that position for, ideally the end goal would be to hold that for like 3 times a minute. And swap sides, you may find that you've got different strength from one side to the other. But to start with, you may just start off holding for 15 to 20 seconds, 2 or 3 times through. Your final progression would be actually to then hold the position and then raise and lower with a nice neutral spine, making sure that we squeeze up through the hip. We're not throwing the back into the movement. It's all directed at extending through the hip.